convener for the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbey, joins me on the telephone for a quick interview. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. How was this meeting called? Who called the meeting? At whose instance was this meeting held?
Well, thank you very much, Salam. You remember that your team, the Media Coalition, you petitioned the Attorney General and then the IGP on this Akonta mining issue. Mm-hmm. And then also myself, Martin Pebu, Sananu, and my colleague, this pharmacist from CDD. The four of us. Kwame said we petitioned the Director General CID on the same case. And so for the coalition's petition, the Attorney General responded and said that he was not close with the power of primary investigation, but was rather investigating bodies like the CID and co who were to do that. And then the IGP also responded and forwarded that he has forwarded the petition to the Director General CID. So Martin, as a lawyer, has been following up on the four of us are petitioned, and we've also been following up to see what is going to happen. And there was very little really that we're hearing in terms of concrete things that have been done. So based on that, we wrote again to the IGP again, copied the Director General CID, about the same petition, and did some follow-ups, with some calls. And so we then got a call from a chief inspector who said, the boss had asked for a meeting. So we went and we met the superintendent of police in charge of the intelligence unit. And so this is how this meeting came about.
I see. So you told the CID boss that you were frustrated at the snail pace of work. What was her response to that bold thing you said to her?
Well, so, in our letter we had stated so, and when we went into the meeting and we were granted audience, we were asked, typically the way Ghana, they will tell you about, they would ask you, Amane, so then, we stated clearly that, this was unbecoming for a case that you had ample evidence. The minister for the sector had issued a statement boldly saying that these people did not have a license to be mining in the Tanonimri Forest Reserve. The Minerals Commission, who as the regulators, they issued the permits, also collaborate that. And then we give you ample evidence in terms of video footage that show, the devastation that has happened over 13 hectares of land in the Tanonimri Forest Reserve, and even provide you extra evidence of the fact that even where Akonta Mining had permits, they were not obeying the buffer between where their concession is and then the Tano River, and then you police yourself. You had gone into Samaboy where there was a clash between Akonta Mining and the people of Samaboy because of the fact that they were mining in the Tanonimri Forest Reserve. There was enough ample evidence to say that, to prove that the Akonta Mining team had sinned against the Minerals and Mining Act. And so by now we're expecting that, after this long period, some actions would have been taken and the case would have been going to court. So, when we stated that, they apologized for it seeming as if nothing was happening. And they said apparently they really have been working on the case. They have even presented interim reports that had to do, that needed extra work to be done, and that they were actually looking into the case. And so, whatever it is that they are going to do, they were going to do. So they gave us those assurances. But some of you and I know that if you take our constitution, sovereignty resides in the people. And then the same constitution also for you, the media, gives you the mandate to hold leadership to account. And our president, in his very first, inauguration, told all of us not to be citizens, but not to be spectators, but citizens. So, with assurances that have been given, if that is going to work, then Citi FM and other media houses, you need to make sure that you are on the Director General CID, the IGP, the AG, the judiciary to ensure that the likes of the directors of Akonta Mining and then other influential people, including the Bosome Frehu, former MC, caught on tape, confessing to an illegality, and the likes of Aisha Wang, these influential people are actually brought to book so that we don't have the situation when the AG tells us that these prosecutions have been done, these are the convictions that have been got. When you go through the list, there is no persons of real influence and, people who we know actually are the people behind this amongst part of that list. That has to stop if you really want to win this fight against this, against illegal mining that is an existential threat.
Good one there. So we will be doing our part. Indeed, we are Citi FM. We are solidly behind you in the fight against Galamsey. I will continue to do what we have to do to ensure that our water bodies are not further contaminated than we currently have, and indeed properly, so they get cleaned up or regenerated, if that's the word to use. Thank you so much for all the work you do. We'll be following this.
Thank you, but I think it's important. I'm sure you heard the German ambassador also talking about, the consequences that is going to come even.
Exactly, yes.
Exactly. And that's where we are going. And you see, I have seen some footages that have been shown to me by some pathologists. And if you see the babies who are producing, babies that have 4 legs, babies that, you see fetuses, stillbed fetuses that have 6, 7, digits and all of that. The impact increasingly is becoming something else. And unfortunately, when all of this fight was going on, the improvement that we saw and the guarantees that have been given to us, the situation now is worse. And so it's really important that leadership have to take an action. In as much as today we are out there planting trees. If you take the Akonta Mining issue, for example, the amount of trees, old trees that were cut away from those forests, and the trees we are planting today, in as much as we want to plant trees, it's important. As they say, a bird in hand is better than how many? So we need to ensure that we safeguard our forests, safeguard our cocoa that has been our mainstay, and then not go supporting this illegality that smuggles, and steals about $4 billion out of us without us getting it. So it's important that all of us, we get civil society also supporting the cause of yourselves and the media to ensure that we get leaders to do what they ought to do.
Very well. Thank you so much, Engineer Dr. Ken Ashigbey.